folks, hope you're all doing okay out there. Today I'm taking a look at the Marvel Legends Skrull Infiltrator Army Builder from Hasbro. And I managed to pick this figure up from Hasbro Pulse because it's actually a Pulse exclusive, which I don't mind ordering from Hasbro Pulse. My only issue, they use Yodel to deliver, and Yodel can just go fuck themselves because they have no care for parcels. Like, I ordered 3 of these guys, they just put the box in the middle of the street outside my house on a day when it was absolutely persisting it down with rain, and all the boxes and everything just got soaked through. Luckily the figures weren't too bad and no one nicked them, but yeah, Yodel, go fuck yourselves. But anyway, that's enough of that shite service. Onto the figure itself. This is actually a really great figure. I was umming and ahhing about getting some of them, but now that I've got him, yeah, it's a really great figure. But anyway, you all know how I do things around here. Quick bit of backstory on the Skrulls. Now, the Skrulls as a race were introduced in Fantastic Four issue 2, all the way back then. A group of 4 Skrull scouts, spies, infiltrators, landed on Earth and pretended to be the Fantastic Four, causing crimes and mayhem and basically trying to discredit the Fantastic Four and get them either arrested or wiped out by the American/world military to clear the way for the Skrull invasion. Luckily, however, it didn't work, and they were thwarted by the Fantastic Four. And after they had thwarted the invasion, Mr. Fantastic hypnotised them into turning into cows. So somewhere out there was 4 Skrulls permanently trapped in the shape and mind of a cow. And yeah, if you don't think that's quite horrific enough, we found out years later in a book called Skrull Kill Crew. It was the 90s, folks, come on, that was pretty par for the course back then. They were actually killed, slaughtered and turned into Skrull meat burgers. So yeah, that well done, Reed Richards. But yeah, the Skrulls have been a major-ish part of Marvel history for a good long while. Their major sort of like story across the whole of Marvel has been their ongoing war between the KREE and themselves. The KREE being a upstart race that initiated the war by killing and stealing from the Skrulls when the KREE were only like a very not overly advanced technological civilization, and used the Skrull technology to just rocket themselves forward. And the Skrulls, naturally being distrustful of most other races after this, just have continued a war for centuries with them. Oh yeah, actually, probably the best and most well-known, either way. The most well-known Skrull storyline was Secret Invasion, where it turns out the Skrulls have been infiltrating the Marvel Universe for decades, replacing people with Skrull agents in an attempt to take over the planet because they saw it as being their divine right, as Earth was apparently their promised paradise. And Secret Invasion was actually a really good series. I picked it all up, mainly because I kind of love all the weird designs they did in the book of Skrull versions of superheroes and trying to guess who and who wasn't a Skrull in disguise. It was actually a really great read. In fact, it's actually so good, the storyline's getting adapted for the MCU in the upcoming Secret Invasion series. I think it's a series on Disney+. That'll be interesting. I mean, it's got to be better than when the Skrulls were first introduced in that Captain Marvel film. Ugh. But if you want some other decent Skrull reads, I recommend Venom First Host. That's a good story dealing with Venom being dragged into the Kree Skrull War. And Meet the Skrulls, a fantastic spy/family drama book following the exploits of a family of Skrull spies on Earth and them trying to complete their mission while still remaining a family. Yeah, that's actually a really great read. But I know, yeah, that's enough of backstory. Let me get back to this figure, which, to be honest, is a real cracker. So, primarily speaking, this figure just uses the Sunfire body mould with a new head. But that's kind of all it needs to do because it's an army builder. But it does those things fantastically as well. The purple and sort of dark olivey blue work amazingly, and they are the classic Skrull colours because they complement their green complexion. And of course, being on that Sunfire body mould, it's pretty darn well articulated. I mean, there's a reason they use this mould for a lot of the Spider-Man figures. He's got butterfly joints in the shoulders, ab crunch, waist swivel, universal shoulder joints, double jointed elbows, universal hips, universal wrists, thigh swivels, double jointed knees, ankle and rocker joints at the hinges, ankle and rocker joints at the ankles. I'm pretty sure I still cocked that up, but either way, you know what I mean. You can see how articulated it is. It's really great, and that fantastic face sculpt is just brilliantly done. I mean, it's a Skrull, green-faced, pointy ears, big old wrinkly Thanos-esque chin. Can't ask for anything more. But we get more. This figure actually comes with a fair few accessories. First thing it comes with is a brand new double blaster cannon / rifle. I really like the look of it. It's a nice futuristic alien-y space gun without being too eccentric. It's not like Kirby-esque levels of weird sci-fi, but it's still something that's clearly not an Earth-made weapon. That's not the only gun it comes with. It actually does come with a very Kirby-esque weapon as well. This little handheld hairdryer pistol. Weirdly, when I saw this, I knew exactly where it was referencing from. It's one of those weird things where, like, when I think of Skrulls, there's like a few images that are burned into my mind. One of which is from, the Young Avengers or Secret Invasion Young Avengers. It's a Young Avengers story where the Skrulls come. And on the front of it, as well as having Skrulls with wings on their back, which I kind of wish was an accessory to plug into the back of this little set of wings, but that's asking a bit too much. They have these very, as I say, Kirby-esque sci-fi guns. And this figure comes with one, and I think it looks really great. What's also actually really cool is, if you've got the right accessories, you can actually make these guns even better. I mean, first of all, the hairdryer gun, you can put one of the blast effects that comes with any and all Iron Man figures in it, and it works really well as a gun firing effect. It's fantastic. Oh, I should also mention, that I did forget it. This figure also comes with two different head sculpts. One quite calm and stoic, the other gritted and angry. Both work pretty well for the figure, either as a calm soldier or one in the middle of battle. So I thought I'd better bring that up. On the big rifle, if you've got the shooting effects that come with either Black Widow or War Machine, they actually fit in the end, and they look incredible on the figure. They really are fantastic on there, and just add to it. You can even put on the wispy, smoky effects to make it look as if the gun has just finished firing. It's a little thing you can do with it, but it's a nice thing that if you've got a Marvel Legends collection, you've probably already got these accessories, and it just adds more to the figure. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of adding more, well, this is an army builder, so we ended up getting 3 of them. Hasbro Pulse limit you to getting like 5. I got 3. I might get 2 more because they look fantastic in a group. It's an army builder. I've never bought an army builder before. Kind of tempted by the AIM scientists, I'm not going to lie, because I always love those old beekeepers, and maybe the what are they called? Oh, shield soldiers. But these Skrull infiltrators / Skrull soldiers, amazing. And you've got to get at least 3, I think. 2, 1's obviously not enough. 2, you might be able to get away with it, but 3, I think 3 is like the minimum you should get. And as I say, I really like Skrulls. Actually, in fact, you know what? I'm going to do another review in this review, because these aren't the only Skrulls I've got. Now, I also picked up the other week the Super Skrull, the Builder figure from the Fantastic Four wave from 2020, maybe? A year or 2 ago. And this is actually a really okay figure. He's not perfect. His joints are very wobbly, and some are very loose, some are overly stiff. But he's still the Super Skrull, and he still looks really imposing. And I really actually love this figure, just for the silliness of it, and mainly for the fact I do like the Super Skrull as a character anyway. The Super Skrull is basically this guy, what's his name? Klurt, that was it, a Skrull officer. After the Fantastic Four beat the Skrulls, they decided to give one of their members the powers of the Fantastic Four to fight against them. So he was granted all the Fantastic Four's powers, plus a hidden 5th power. Spoiler alert, it was hypnotism, maybe as a way to get back at the Fantastic Four for hypnotising those first few Skrulls into being cows, who knows. But yeah, the Super Skrull was basically literally the Super Skrull. He was the Skrull everyone knew about because he had superpowers, and was a villain that appeared quite often in Marvel Comics. And this figure, despite the looseness issues or the tightness issues of the joints, does him justice. I mean, it's a fully articulated figure. I mean, as you can see, he's got all the same joints as the Infiltrators, just on a slightly larger, bulkier body, with his signature, like, V-shaped costume rather than the usual, like, starburst patterned one that most Skrulls have. It looks really, really great on him. But the best thing is a builder figure with interchangeable arms, because he also comes with 2 arms to show off the Fantastic Four powers he has. And I think they work really, really fantastically, if you pardon the pun. You've got one arm which is obviously stretched out, but also done in clear plastic, showing off the Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic's powers, while the other one is rocky like the Thing, with the clip-onable flame effect to show the Human Torch's powers. And I think they are both really, 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 really okay. I think my problem is, I'd rather have had two Thing power arms with flame effects on them, and maybe give him like legs that are turning invisible or stretching, maybe. Because like if you see him in most like comic book depictions, he has two Thing flaming arms to fight with. That's kind of what I'd like. But I understand that they did this to cover the bases, to show all the powers in the most economical way they could. It's not bad in any way, so to speak, but ideally I'd have loved just two flaming Thing arms. That'd have been, that'd have been more accurate to comic book depictions. Oh, I should also say he does also come with a second head. He's got a stern expression one and a smiling / grinning super villainous head, which, yeah, it's an okay sculpt. The skin colour is slightly darker than the Infiltrators, but I think that's more of a case of the plastic they're using is slightly different, or they wanted him to be, I don't know, more imposing, a darker skinned character, something a bit more villainous maybe. Yeah, but all in all, it works quite well. Oh, I suppose I should compare these figures to the ones in my collection, shouldn't I? I normally do. So here's the two of them together, one of the Infiltrators and the Super Skrull. You can see what I mean, the difference between the greens between the two. I'm guessing it might just be a plastics things where they wanted to, I don't know, or maybe they just changed the green they use. It wouldn't surprise me if we get a re-release of Super Skrull on his own, like a retro wave where they match the green tones between the two. But anyway, here they are with the last Marvel Legends figure I reviewed, the 20th anniversary Captain America. Look fantastic compared to each other. The Skrull Infiltrator is necessarily smaller, looks more like a grunt than a big imposing figure, which is what the Super Skrull is. He looks substantially large and bulky enough to be a threat. Here the two of them are compared to the retro Spider-Man. Yeah, again, look fantastic. Actually, kind of like, look at them now, it's the whole Green Goblin thing of they sort of clash / I don't know, they're the opposites of the Spider-Man colours, and it makes them work really well together. Here they are with some of the Fantastic Four figures, the ones I think are the most interesting. Obviously, first up, the Human Torch. They look great together, and my favourite figure from last year, the Thing. The Thing is a big figure compared to the two of them, but they both still work really well with it. And in fact, actually, if you've got the Fantastic Four team, the whole lot like I have, having them displayed with the Skrulls, it's probably the best thing to do because they work really, really well together. On a display, the colours contrast. Story-wise, it's great to have them together. And I think just they're all fantastic figures that I'm really glad I bought. And just looking at all the Skrulls together now, they work really well as a unit, even as a little display on their own. And I will definitely be getting some more of them because I just love these guys. I love Skrulls. I kind of hope we get some more Skrull figures in the future. Like there's other versions of there's ones like Pybok the Power Skrull who's like the Super Skrull, but has all the X-Men powers, or Lyra, or who's a female Skrull who infiltrate the Fantastic Four. Just actually small female Skrulls I think would be quite interesting. Oh, but actually no, I tell you what's actually, speaking of more Skrulls, all these figures come with 2 heads, which means with the 4 I've got, that's 8 different Skrull heads. And you know what you can do with that? You can make Super Skrulls. The kind that you saw in Secret Invasion, where they basically just mixed and matched all these Marvel hero and villain powers together to create some really off-the-wall and just strange combinations of Super Skrulls. And if you've got like a Marvel Legends collection, just throw the heads on there. I mean, look at this. These are just some random figures I've got. Just mixed and matched pieces, parts, powers, slapped a Skrull head on them, and they look like a bunch of weird Super Skrulls or Skrull imposters, and I think it's fantastic. I know it looks a bit naff, but I really like this idea of just mixing and matching pieces to make your own Super Skrulls. Well, that's it folks, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please leave a like down below and a comment as well. And if you've not subscribed already, please subscribe for more mediocre contents at best. And until next time, I want you all to stay safe, stay sane, and keep on rolling. And I'll see you all next time. Ta-da!